Hey guys, Mr. Cooney here to take you through some modeling of the assignment on the argumentative research paper in note-taking. I'm going to put heavy quotation marks around note-taking because all this really is going to involve doing is just copying and pasting some text from your articles onto your document after you choose them carefully. Okay, so I'm going to be returning your works cited entries. I'll return the ones who have already been completed probably as soon as I finish this video here. And as I get more and I grade them, I'll return them to you so you definitely have them, you have access to them, and then you can then use those to start collecting your notes. Okay, so I'm going to share screen here. First over to, let's see, first over to our assignment itself. Okay, so here it is. And first of all, we have this announcement here. You must finish the works cited assignment before you can, typo there, sorry, before you can complete this assignment. I'm going to fix that while I'm on here. That's going to drive me crazy. Easier to see anyway, right? Okay, that's much better. Because what we want to do is you want to take the quotes and you want to copy them and you want to paste them underneath each works cited entry, because then you know where they came from, because you have to say where they came from when you use them in your actual paper. Okay. So step by step, using the information from your works cited entries, go back and find your first article. Okay, so say we've done that. And we've got this article right here from the CDC, okay? All right, so I've gone back and I've found my article. Next says, as you reread it, try to start thinking about what you'll argue in your paper, okay? I mean, I think you guys probably have a pretty good idea what position you're gonna take at this point, just from like looking around at stuff, and hopefully your own, maybe part of your own personal opinion, but supported by the research that you've been reading. Okay, so I might look at this article and kind of read through it more and look at these headings. I've already read it before, maybe read a little bit more closely and try to decide, all right, what are some things in here that seem like they would be good additions to my paper? Let me kind of jump ahead here. When we say quotes to take out of an article, that does not mean that it has to be something that someone says, okay? It doesn't have to already be in quotes to be a quote for your paper. In fact, this article is so informational, it doesn't really have quotes from experts because it's from the experts, it's from the CDC, right? But if you have a more journalistic type article from a magazine or something, like a science magazine, and they're quoting experts, you don't have to quote them quoting the experts. I mean, you can, but all you have to do is just take an exact sentence or two from it. Okay, so I know I'm going back and forth a lot, but what it says is keeping that in mind and using the same doc that's been returned to you with your works cited entries on it, you want to choose 4 different quotes, each no longer than just a sentence or two. We don't want whole paragraphs. That'll muck up your paper too much. It's your argument supported by brief quotes from your sources. That'll help you prove your argument. So carefully copy and paste each one, the space between each one, so you can tell that they're separate. And I can tell that you found 4 of them from different places in your article under that works cited entry for that source. Okay, so I've kind of dummied up a document here. Okay, I only put 1 on here, but you would have 3, right? So this is 1 works cited entry. Okay, and this is the site that I'm looking at. So I look through here and I decide, all right, it's got who should wear a mask and who should not wear a mask. Maybe you want to get a quote from each one of those here. Okay, so everyone 2 years of age and older should wear a mask in public settings when they are around people who do not live in their household. That's from the CDC. That's a pretty straightforward, strong statement if I were arguing that people should wear masks, most if not all the time. All right, so I'm going to copy that text, go back here, and then I'm going to paste it in. Okay, so there's 1 quote. And I space down, go back to my article, and maybe I decide for myself, oh, there's some information here about who might not need to wear a mask or maybe who shouldn't, right? So maybe I'll take some of that. Now you don't want a list of bullets in there, so I'm just going to kind of, I'm just going to take whatever here, just to put another quote in there. Okay, that's another one, and I'm not going to really talk more about what I'm getting here. I'm just going to get 2 more quotes, whatever they're about. You would obviously be choosing carefully what you take, but I just want you to see what this will look like. There's another quote, and then say I'm reading down here, and something about face shields. Okay, fine. Okay. All right. I have finished 1/3 of the assignment already. Okay. Now you want to slow down a little bit more. You want to choose quotes that you definitely think will help your argument. And I don't have, and you know, I only have one source here. Okay. So I've done this for one source, and then you need to do for the same thing for your second source and the same thing for your third source. But again, you're not writing anything, right? You're just choosing quotes that you think will be useful. You don't have to retype them. You just copy them and you paste them. This is another 20-point writing grade. Let me come off the share here. Actually, let me go back to the share. Let's look at the instructions one more time. Make sure I'm covering everything. Okay, finally, do the same for each of your other two sources. Like I just said, keep in mind, a quote does not mean it has to be something that someone actually says with their voice that's in quotation marks in the article. It just means you're taking a writer's exact words to use to support your argument. Okay, so as I was starting to say before, this is the only other writing grade this quarter, okay? It's the works cited, and then there's note taking, which kind of adds on to the document you already started. So please finish it on time, or else I'm gonna have a bunch of people who maybe weren't failing at the end. But what this should be is an easy mechanical way to boost up your grade. Because if you do it just like I did, there's not really any wrong to it, right? It's gonna be up to you how carefully you choose. Now, if you don't choose carefully, you put a bunch of random stuff, then you're gonna have a hard time writing your paper. So I want you to try hard, but as long as I see that you've made those choices and you've got a total of 12 quotes essentially, right? 4 each from 3 sources, 3 times 4 is 12. Then you get your full credit, 20 writing points, okay? So get on it and finish that this week by Thursday night at the latest. I'd love to see some come in early, and you can kind of be through with your work for the semester for me early. Okay. Also watch for the last thing to go up for the last part of the mice and men. That's the other major thing we're working on this week, along with the vocab test. Okay. Hopefully see you guys in live session. Definitely Wednesday. That's required.